So here, there's a new Gyre 300 series flow pump with the Cloud Edition ones. Pretty excited to try this out on my tank. Just give you a little short unboxing. In the box, you'll see the instruction manual. And underneath that, you'll see the contents of the box. This is the control unit. You can see really big screen. Some accessories for the pumps. I think these are to convert the dual flow on the pump into a single outlet. So if your tank is not big enough or doesn't require that much flow, you can use these to reduce the flow of the tank. Sorry, not the pump. And then you will have the two flow units. Nice magnet here. Long cable. And I think these are individual 4-section adjustable flow directions. You can angle these to whatever angle you want to suit whatever corals or dead space in your tank. Here's the other unit. And these are the flow angles that you can clip onto the pump and direct the flow left to right, up and down. See, these are pretty hard to turn, but once you get in there, it won't move that easily. Hope you can see this. I'll just demonstrate how to clip onto the pump. And it's just very simple. Just stuff in the back. It just snaps in like that. Pretty simple. You can adjust the angle of the flow directors. So you can adjust the flow to wherever you want in your tank. Oh yeah, you can adjust it from the top as well. That makes it so much easier. Also, something about these hoods is it helps block the light onto the pumps. So on the previous Gyre pumps, if you have them in the tank for a while, I'm pretty sure everybody will know that algae will start growing on all these different areas. They'll start growing on the impellers, and once they start doing that, then you will reduce the flow rate by quite a bit, and you gotta take out and clean the impellers and the cages, and that takes a while, and I'm pretty sure everybody know how big of a pain that was. So with these new hoods, it blocks a lot of the light onto the impeller, onto the cages, so it won't clog up that easily. Finally, power supply for the pump, and a mounting bracket for the control unit. This is a side-by-side comparison between the old controller and the new controller. On the right-hand side, this is the old Gyre controller. And as you can see, the screen is very small and pretty hard to see, especially if you had this had this controller for more than 5 years. the information provided is very, I won't say basic, but not that intuitive. Right now you can see this is on the setting mode. It's on a gyre setting, and it's pretty hard to see. The buttons are pretty hard to move as well. There's a scroll wheel here and a confirm button in the middle, and this is your feed button. Compared to the new one, you're greeted with this huge screen, and all the information is displayed on the screen. You can just quickly have a glance at what's going on. You can see what your pump is doing, what percentage fluid there are, what kind of setting you're in. So very easy to see what's going on, and these 4 buttons down here, it's very easy to navigate through the menus. It makes it controller very intuitive. And with the available cloud edition, you can download the apps on your Apple or Android phone, and you can have much more control at your fingertips. You can do a lot more on your phone. So I'm pretty excited to try this on my tank. I'll quickly go through the menus on this new Gyre controller. Right now you can see there's the feed mode, quick setting, and the systems settings. For the feed mode, it is default to set at 30 minutes, but you can adjust this feed timer within the app from between, I think, 10 minutes to all the way up to 2 hours. So it really depends how long you want to feed your how long you want the feed mode to be on your tank. And below that, this is the different settings for the pumps. You have the linear flows, the pulsing flows. These are just the different pulse widths from 0.5 seconds all the way up to 10 seconds. This is the gradual flow rates for the pump. It just gradually increases and decreases the flows. Again, same as the pulsing, and you can set the pulse width from 0.5 seconds all the way up to 10 seconds. This down here is the gyre settings. Same thing, you can have the gyre settings all the way from 6 seconds all the way up to, I think, 10 minutes. Well, 5 minutes, but the minutes you can adjust within the app as well. Lastly, this is the random mode, which randomizes the flow rates on your pump. For the system settings, you have your initialize settings, your quick Wi-Fi settings, system resets, and you can choose your whatever language that suits you. So this is just a really quick overview of the controller. So here is the old Gyre pumps in my tank. Right now I'm just having it at a constant laminar flow, and it's giving my tank a pretty decent flow in my tank. These toadstools, you can see a pretty good demonstration of see how the flow is in my tank right now. Right now I have the pump, my left pump pumping, so the flow is going from left to right, to the other side of the tank, down, and across the bottom from right to left. So you can see the flow is pretty good. Nice laminar flow, but not really the randomized flow that I was looking for. I think my tank's been set up for less than around 2 weeks maybe. Excuse the algae growth, but you can see how there's so much algae growing on the pump already, and the impeller, hope you can see it, is starting to have some growth in the impeller, and eventually when the algae start growing more and more on the impeller, it will reduce the flow by quite a bit. And right now I have the new gyre pumps installed in my tank. They are running at random mode right now, and the two pumps are linked together. With the random flow, what I'm hoping is with these pumps in random, will create some clashing flows throughout my tank, generating a random flow instead of a more laminar flow like my previous pump, which I hope that my corals will like better and it won't annoy them too much. As you can see from my toadstool, the flow is pretty random. You can see the polyps are just waving back and forth to the current in my tank. They aren't really stuck in one way or the other. The acans is nice and plump right now. You don't see the polyps being pushed either left or right, and you can sort of see them waving back and forth within the current. The discus as well. You can see the little polyps are just waving back and forth the current in the tank and not just being blasted from the left side or the right side. And as you can see, algae is starting to grow on the hoods and on the hoods itself, and not on the grill or the impeller. These hood will help block the light so that algae growth will be minimized within the impeller and the grill, and hopefully not affect the flow rate too much. I just had these pumps installed for a few days now, and so far I'm very happy with them.